A very warm welcome to Hope TV Newswatch as we bring you news that made headlines today. It's my pleasure. My name is Mellisa Oduor. Boniface Muredi is on the sign language tonight. Newswatch begins now. Our President William Ruto has pledged to ensure the UDA party still reigns in the 2027 general elections. Speaking during the inaugural UDA Party Aspirants Forum, President Ruto said his administration is implementing its 2022 manifesto page by page, a move he describes as a shift from mere talk to action. UDA party is in a rush to establish its political dominance, with a high turnout reflecting the intense competition expected during the primaries. And as Samia Dika reports, the party top leadership has told off opposition leaders, insisting that 2027 will be a walk in the park for President Ruto.
As the race to the 2027 general elections takes shape, the United Democratic Alliance UDA party is seemingly engaging a higher gear in a bid to cement its influence across the country. In a meeting that brought together over 12,000 UDA aspirants at State House, Nairobi, party leader President William Ruto reiterated the need for the aspirants to be ambassadors of the party at grassroots level.
Hii nakala inaonyesha ile ahadi tulitoa na ile kazi tumefanya kutekeleza ahadi hiyo, na tumefikisha karibu 75% tukilielekea 80% ya kutimiza ile manifesto.
In order to manage perceived unfairness during nominations, the president has vowed to ensure fair nominations with emphasis on onboarding more women leaders.
Nominations must be free, fair, credible, democratic. And we will make sure, sijui kama tunaelewana, mwenye kushinda atashinda kwa haki, mwenye kushindwa ashindwe kwa haki.
The event also saw President William Ruto and his deputy Kithure Kindiki jab the opposition, saying they should spare them their criticism as the country has experienced significant growth under the Kenya Kwanza administration.
People lecturing us about schools, about education. During their tenure, all these problems were manufactured when they were in office. Shida ya curriculum, shida ya no teachers, no classrooms.
Kuna watu wamekwama katika siasa ya ukabila, siasa ya chuki, siasa ya watu binafsi. We are telling them Kenya has changed.
Kindiki equally lauded President William Ruto's efforts in addressing challenges faced in different sectors, a decision he terms as bold enough to drive growth.
We have seen you make tough political decisions, tough economic decisions, tough policy decisions that have made Kenya stable today.
Wazazi walikuwa wanasema toa hiyo CBC. Leo mmesikia hiyo kelele ya curriculum ya CBC. Si imeisha. Mwenye kunyorosha ni nani?
With the UDA hosting both incumbents and ambitious newcomers, the party now faces the delicate task of balancing the desires of the incumbents with political survival, which may force many to be sidelined in favor of strong aspirants. For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
Adika is on the election trail. They're still on it. The chairman of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, Erastus Ekathon, has dismissed claims that the immediate former Commission Chief Executive Marjan Hussein Marjan resigned due to internal and external pressure to bow out. Speaking at a prayer breakfast for the commission organized by the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, EAK, Ekathon assured Kenyans that business at Anniversary Towers continues as usual, as the commission sets the ball rolling to recruit a new CEO. And as Vincent Kerosi now reports, the IEBC will kick off a mass voter registration exercise in March this year, targeting to net 6.3 million new voters countrywide.
Don't overblow things, don't overimagine things, some things that are not even there. Because yesterday we agreed and we finished our work and then we went home, all of us, very happy.
It was in the best interest of the country. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Erastus Ethekon has now put to rest the speculation surrounding the resignation of long-serving Chief Executive Officer Marijan Hussein Marijan. While dismissing claims that the former CEO bowed to pressure from the united opposition who had demanded his exit, Ethekon reiterated that Marijan tendered his resignation following a mutual agreement as the commission prepares for a monumental electioneering period.
And we've been in the institution for the last 6 months and we've looked around, we've had conversations with our staff and when we come to certain decisions, they are guided by law and they are based upon our discussions with the various employees, and in this case the CEO. And what I communicated yesterday is the correct position, that we've had discussions and we arrived at a mutually agreeable separation in the interest of the country. Because we have elections, I think we will be declaring elections in August 2026, 1 year to elections.
In recent weeks, the united opposition has outrightly demanded that Marijan resign or be removed, accusing him of involvement in previously contested presidential elections. Ethekon has, albeit vaguely, played down these claims, despite the resignation coming barely a week after the commission held a highly charged closed-door meeting with the united opposition. The opposition later pointing out that Marijan's ouster was one of the ultimatums they had issued to the commission.
Because yesterday we agreed and we finished our work and then we went home, all of us, very happy. But then when you hear stories from the media, they have their own stories.
The commission has assured Kenyans that the process of appointing a new CEO will be transparent and that, in the meantime, business will continue as usual, laying the roadmap for next year's general elections. That roadmap includes a mass voter registration drive starting next month, targeting over 6 million new voters to bring the total number of registered voters to approximately 28 million.
Targeting 6.3 million to be registered before the next general election. And this data is derived from the fact that these are the Kenyans who have IDs. They are more eligible Kenyans. Indeed, they could be even 10 million.
And we are saying that EAK is open. We are everywhere. We would want to open our churches to invite the IBC officials and your staff to go and register our young people. When we are talking about young people, where are they?
Despite the glaring challenges, the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya has urged the Commission to strive to deliver a credible general election, promising undivided support through voter education and maintaining the impartiality of the process. The Commission has also categorically stated that it is yet to procure any electoral materials, asserting that any mention of a contractual agreement with the Smart Matic company is far-fetched.
The Commission does not vote. Let's all be in agreement on that. However, you cannot deny congregants their right of choice. And as we stand as EAK, we have no preferred candidate.
And the way in which we work is we discuss with our technical teams and they submit to us proposals, we examine them, and at the policy level we approve the manner in which, for example, technology is going to be procured. So until we reach that time, we really do not have much to discuss about this mathematics.
in unity, peace and
With the general elections just 18 months away and the intro of IBC full, perhaps the synergy and prayer from religious organizations will pull the trick. Vincent Kerosi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kerosi, for that report. Now, moving on, interviews to fill 20 positions for Judge of the High Court began today with 6 candidates facing the Judicial Service Commission. Some of the advocates who appeared before the panel, however, had a rough time expressing themselves, raising concerns on their level of preparedness. The Commission put the candidates to test to explain their standing on some contentious subjects in the law and their general understanding of what the office of the High Court judge demands. The interviews are expected to continue tomorrow, running up to next month.
Days after concluding interviews and shortlisting 15 justices to be Court of Appeal judges who were appointed by President William Ruto,
ought to be purely for ELC.
the Judicial Service Commission was back to interviewing candidates for the position of Judge of the High Court.
You did not make any reference to decided.
Elizabeth Achieng Agutu was first to face the panel, and he faced a lot of difficulties explaining some fundamental judiciary basics, including the Chief Justice's vision for the judiciary anchored on the STAJ blueprint.
You've heard of the acronym STAJ?
Yes.
What is it?
If you could just spell it for me. ST?
AJ. STAJ. What
yes,
is it in full?
I have, Yona. I'm trying to recall. I have.
Okay, even if you don't know the name, what it stands for in full, what is it as a document?
It basically, let me give a shot at it. I have read about it, Yona. I don't know. It's just escaping my mind.
For Naima Sheikh,
converting to Christianity,
the Commission put her to task to express herself on the contentious subject of matrimonial property, especially in the case of a polygamous marriage.
What about the property that each wife came with?
The property that each wife came with,
yes.
You'll have to establish what interest or what contribution she did to those properties. If she cannot prove she contributed to it, whether monetary or non-monetary, then she will not be entitled.
If you are married as a second wife and you come with a house, how will it be treated?
That property will be treated as your own. If they cannot prove that they contributed to it, whether monetary or non-monetary.
Adelaide Amimo,
a loan facility with a bank,
was faced with the subject of election laws in the country, a subject which she struggled to explain.
Did you go through the 2017, 2012, 2022?
No, for the cases I didn't go through that. I only looked at the Article 140 and the Election Act.
Okay. So I take it further that you have not been interacted with Section 83 of the Elections Act.
Maybe if you remind me, I have done a lot of reading, my lord.
Oh.
Nedi Adhiambo, on her part,
the judicial officer would need to look at the
pledged to stand firm against outside influence when making decisions on matters that will be brought before her if she gets appointed.
When it comes to stakeholder capture, one must ensure and make it very clear on their independence. Essentially, you have to be very clear on the fact that your decisions as a judicial officer must be rooted in the rule of law. You must make decisions based on the circumstances and the facts of the case before you and the law that provides for it. It cannot be from any other, whether it's peers, whether it's the familial grounds or the society.
Others interviewed were Brian Pratt Ayodo and Chief Magistrate Harrison Omwima. The interviews are set to continue tomorrow and will run until the 4th of March.
And respect for the judicial.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Jacob Ochiro.
Now, the Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children's Services has confirmed that investigations into the recent deaths of street children have kicked off as it moves to establish whether the victims were from street families or had homes they could return to. Addressing a press conference, Gender Cabinet Secretary Hannah Wendot condoled with the affected families and reaffirmed the government's commitment to reintegrating children with their families through the ongoing closure of children's homes. Glory Githinji reports.
Thank you. the launch of a new faith-based safeguarding handbook on the importance of children protection, gender, culture and children's service, Cabinet Secretary Hannah Wendot said the ministry has begun investigations to determine the background of the children who recently lost their lives. Noting that the findings will help guide future investigations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The CAS emphasized that the government is keen to understand whether the victims were entirely disconnected from family structures as officials work to strengthen child protection system across the country.
Who are these families who are actually reported to have been killed? The report that we have is that we have not yet ascertained whether all of them are state families. We are working together with the county government of Nairobi, together with the police to establish actually, and the county government informs us from the city mortuary as to the identity of the gender, the age, and actually the exactly who these people who are killed are. So we have already begun the ascertainment, and we shall make it public once we have the actual report.
The CS has condoled with the families who lost their loved ones, describing the death as tragic and calling for collective responsibility in safeguarding vulnerable children. She lauded the government for working with religious institutions and other organizations such as UNICEF to sound an alarm to all those violating children's rights and all those exposing children to danger.
But we are very sorry for all those who have been killed. Every Kenyan needs to be protected, whether you are living in the streets or you are living at home. All of them, everyone deserves to live well. So we want to send condolences to the families of those who are bereaved, and as a government, we are following up to its logical conclusion.
According to the ministry, reintegrating children with their families remains a key priority, with officials stressing that family-based care offers better emotional and social development for children. Reporting for Newswatch, my name is Glory Githinji.
Thank you, Glory, for that report. And the government has dismissed claims that it has a hand in recruiting Kenyans to fight in foreign conflicts, including the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Speaking at the Meru University of Science and Technology, the Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, Roslyn Njogu, said it is illegal for any individual or agency to recruit Kenyans to participate in wars in other countries. She warned that any agent found engaging in such activities risks losing their trade license and face legal action. Njogu has cautioned Kenyans against falling victim to illegal recruiters and urged job seekers to verify opportunities through the National Employment Authority website. She has further warned members of the public against joining conflicts in Ukraine or Russia, saying the government does not support or facilitate such engagements.
The government of Kenya does not recruit a single person to go and fight for an army of another country. Are we together? The government is not in the business of recruiting Kenyans to go and fight in the battles of other people. Why would we do that? Number two, let me be clear. We have issued warning after warning after warning to Kenyans not to be recruited to go and fight in these wars. So if you hear somebody saying, I am going to go to Russia and I'm going to join the war efforts, you need to tell them to stop that nonsense. Why? My officers every day have to deal with families that come to speak to us about, oh, kijana wetu alituambia anaenda kufanya logistics lakini sasa ametutumia picha amevaa combat. Or, you know, I listen to some young people after they have come back and we ask them, why did you go? Did you not know that you were going to go to war? They said, kukufa ni siku moja. We have to try. Can we be a bit more responsible, young people? There are good opportunities. You do not need to go to war. There are good opportunities. There are good opportunities for various skills. Going to war is not one of them. And let us be clear, we are not allowing anybody to recruit for Russia or for Ukraine for the war. So if you see somebody recruiting somebody for the war, say something. Because that friend, that relative, that neighbor might lose their life, might lose their limb, or might come back and they will have been changed for life. If you're going to find a job abroad, use a licensed and regulated agent. How do you know that somebody is a licensed and regulated agent? You go on the National Employment Authority website, NAIR, nairs.go.ke. There is a list there that tells you who is in the good books, who has been blacklisted, who has been suspended.
And those words of caution take us to our first short break here on Hope TV Newswatch. We'll be back with more news items, including former Chief Justice and presidential hopeful David Maraga's foray as he eyes the top seat in 2027. Don't go too far.
Get ready for an unforgettable worship experience. Every Sunday on Ultimate Worship. Where we bring you live music, powerful praise, and anointed gospel ministers and bands. Join us every Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Everywhere I go, I see you right there. It's not just music, it's worship unleashed. It's ultimate worship.
You're too faithful to fail me.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
What if your pain had a purpose? What if your past was just a beginning of a greater story?
Gotten to another level because now I could not do anything without it, and now it became like a poison. I take it today, it grounds me for 3 more days.
If I had not read the Bible, when I read the Bible, it just confirmed all the more that I had an encounter with the Lord, because I told him, Lord, why have you come to me?
From the streets to the sanctuary, from the prison yard to the pulpit, real people are sharing the power of God's transforming love. No matter where you've been, God can rewrite your story.
So I got him, I just called, and by luck, he picked up the phone.
Whoa.
I explained everything and what I was feeling.
Wow.
He started praying in tongues immediately over the phone, and that thing, whatever it was, it stopped.
Join me, Sharon Aitore Wanganye, for Testify every Thursday at 8 p.m. as we listen through the journey of hope, healing, and redemption through the voices of people just like you.
And when you're running away from God, there's only the fire you can run.
Yeah.
I stand here as a witness that God catches up.
These aren't just stories, they are testimonies. Don't just watch. Testify.
We're back with more news now. Former Chief Justice and presidential hopeful David Maraga has pledged to wage an aggressive war on corruption should he be elected president in the 2027 general elections. Speaking during a voter civic registration drive in Nyalani, Kinango Sub-County, Kwale County, Maraga accused the current administration of failing to confront runway graft, which he says continues to undermine service delivery and stall development projects. UJM Kwale County Coordinator and Woman Representative Aspirant Zainab Chitsangi also urged residents to rally behind the party's leadership, saying it is time to bridge the development gaps that have persisted since the 2022 general election.
Mumeona mara nyingi pesa zinalipwa kwa shule ambayo haiko. Pesa zinalipwa kwa hospitali ambayo haiko. Na wananchi wanaendelea kushangaa na kutopata ile huduma ambao wanatakikana kupata. Mimi nachukia mwizi. Mwizi tunachukiana na yeye. Tafadhali nipe mamlaka ya rais. Nitashika kipoko. Si wale ambao wanasimamia pesa ni watakuwa wafanyikazi wangu. PS na CS. Nitawaambia huyo CS ambao wanasimamia, nikamwambia nimekupatia hii pesa, mimi nataka kuona majibu maamini vile imetumika. Kama mtu anaenda kutumia hiyo pesa vibaya, tutaonana na yeye. Kwanza, kitu ya kwanza mimi nataka kuwaahidi, mimi sitaiba pesa yenu. Kama sitaiba pesa yenu, siwezi kukubalia mtu yeyote ambao tunafanya kazi naye aibe pesa yenu.
Former Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati has distanced himself from reports that he misappropriated 3.6 million shillings public funds during his tenure at the county. According to the former governor, the claims are politically motivated. Addressing reporters in Bungoma, Wangamati said the Senate Committee on Public Accounts in its report failed to explain the use of the funds. He has accused the chair of the committee of failing to give the county attorney adequate time to explain the use of the funds, and further stated that the funds were used by ward representatives in a tour to Uganda and not for the county Christmas tree, as claimed. Wangamati has urged the government to stop politicizing development projects and called on security organs to crack down on those who embezzle public funds meant for development.
Francis Tome, who was then the deputy clerk of the County Assembly of Bungoma. I, as Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati, who was then the governor of Bungoma, I did not have any direct link to the payment of that money. That money was paid for a benchmarking trip to Uganda, and I think that trip happened. It is upon the County Assembly of Bungoma or the county government of Bungoma to then ask Francis Tome to account for that money. And I think, I believe and understand that he has done so. So for anyone to actually link the executive at that time, headed by myself, to that interest of 3.65, I just find it to be malicious. I find it to be just propaganda with the intention of maligning my name as the governor of Bungoma then. Just to point out that even if today the 3.68 million was meant to purchase a Christmas tree, for God's sake, can you purchase a Christmas tree in September for a function in December? It doesn't make sense at all. Thirdly, the person who received the money was the deputy clerk of the County Assembly of Bungoma.
And a memorial service has been held for Joyce Wanjiro Karumba, the wife of gospel DJ Karumba Ngatia, also known as DJ Kroba. Joy passed on last week after a chronic kidney illness. In his tribute during the service held at the Nairobi Chapel, DJ Kroba broke down in tears as he recalled intimate moments with his beloved wife that defined their marriage and Joyce's unwavering belief in his future. He also expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support the family has received. Joy will be buried tomorrow, Thursday, February the 5th.
The last time I stood here, I was hosting service here in church. And my wife was seated just right there at the corner, smiling at me. And now she's not there, smiling at me. And I'm gonna miss this girl. I'm gonna miss this girl. Yesterday, I didn't sleep. And I was just going through all the photos and all the videos and everything. And I'm going to talk about one video I bumped into yesterday night. And it was a video we took in Cape Town. It was some few days after our anniversary. And Joy was shooting me as I was doing my assignment. And she was speaking a word into my life. And she was saying, that year was really tough. And she was telling me, this is still the best year we've ever had. And that was a very tough year. She was telling me this is the best year we've ever had, even in this situation. She was telling me you are going to graduate, and that education will change lives. That education will change lives. And I was like, I don't know. Either way, me and my wife, we knew we were in the business of changing lives. So I didn't know how that was going to go.
May God's comfort continue to surround the Karumba family during this season. To some international news now, Libyan prosecutors say they are investigating the killing of Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of the country's longtime leader, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. The 53-year-old, who was once widely seen as his father's heir apparent, was killed during a direct confrontation with a 4-man commando unit that broke into his home in the city of Zintan. The public prosecutor's office said forensic experts had been dispatched to Zintan in northwest Libya to conduct investigations. Reports intimate that Saif al-Islam might have been targeted by locals who felt their political influence was being threatened by his popularity. Saif al-Islam was long seen as the most influential and feared figure in the country after his father, who ruled Libya from 1969 until being ousted and killed during an uprising in 2011. However, al-Islam had always denied that he wanted to inherit power from his father. We're looking at business news now. Agribusiness firm Kakuzi has added quality tea loose leaf packets to its growing list of domestic sales products. The firm says this is part of an ongoing products and markets diversification strategy to boost its earnings. The loose leaf tea brand will be available in 250 grams and 500 gram packs. Speaking when he confirmed the launch of the tea product branded as Kakuzi Pure Black Tea, Kakuzi PLC Managing Director Chris Flowers said by packaging the locally processed and blended tea leaves for local sale, Kakuzi is working to mitigate export-only risks for its tea produce as international tea trade fortunes dwindle. Information, Communications and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kafogo has held a meeting with his counterpart from the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, Engineer Sami Smeirat, on the sidelines of the DCO General Assembly. The two discussed accelerating memoranda of understanding in the pipeline to strengthen bilateral trade ties between Kenya and the Jordan Kingdom, to expand tea and coffee exports, collaborating on pharmaceutical manufacturing and advancing digital infrastructure. Speaking at the meeting, CS Kafogo said Kenya is also keen to leverage Jordan's strategic EPZs to access global markets as the two countries deepen cooperation on the digital economy and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. On to sports now. The national government has taken over the construction of Mombasa Municipal Stadium in Mombasa County, following deliberations that have now given the green light to the Ministry of Sports and Defence to take charge of the works in the 15,000-seater facility. Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir held talks with Principal Secretary for Sports Elijah Mwangi and Defence Principal Secretary Patrick Mariro over the modalities of taking over the project that has been under construction since 2015. Speaking to the media, the Sports PS said the facility, once complete, will meet the required international sporting tournament standards, thereby making the stadium one of the identified venues for Africa Cup of Nations AFCON matches in 2027.
This project is a 15,000-seater capacity. It is the largest stadium within the coast region in consideration of the Kware Stadium, which is around 10,000-seater capacity. The intention is to have this stadium done and completed within the next 12 months, if not 9 months. Our expectation is that the AFCON competition may be considered to be played here in Mombasa, this stadium being an alternative stadium to the ones that we have in Nairobi, that is the Taranta, Nyayo, Kasarani. Of course, we shall also be developing a playing field at South Coast, that is in Likoni, so that it can be used to support this one being competition ground. Mombasa is known as a tourism city. Having this stadium, which can accommodate 15,000 people, which have a canopy, which have seats, which have VIP pavilion, which has a service that can also be used for rugby and other games. We expect that it shall bring more tourists, sports tourism here in Mombasa. And of course, we are aware when we bring sports, the accompanying teams, they spend their time in Mombasa, they enjoy, they visit, and the economy of Mombasa is expected to be enhanced by virtue of this stadium.
And it's a football transfer that did not just make headlines, it took over social media when Harambee Stars defender Collins Sichenje completed his move to Charlton Athletics in England. Kenyan fans flooded the club's social media pages with pride, humor, and high expectations. But beyond the jokes and emojis, there's a bigger conversation about Kenyan talent abroad and what it could mean for the national team. Our reporter Kennedy Kimani takes a closer look.
It is not every day that a football transfer announcement goes viral, but when Harambee Stars defender Collins Sichenje signed for Charlton Athletic FC, Kenyans on social media went into a frenzy. Some fans were already planning how they'll watch the games, joking that the match will be shown live on the streets of Nairobi. Others went into full support mode, asking for training updates, recovery routines, even reminding the club to get the ice bath temperatures just right. For some, the excitement went even further, with Charlton Athletic FC suddenly being claimed as a Kenyan team. And just in case the club did not get the message, Kenyans want updates, daily updates, training, meals, meetings, even breathing. It's entertaining, it's passionate, and it's very Kenyan. But beyond the jokes and excitement, there's a bigger football story taking shape. Sports journalist Joseph Mwabili says moments like these show just how closely Kenyan fans are now following players abroad and why these moves matter.
Every time one of us does something impressive to make this country proud, we go there. Na tulikuwa tunaambia the new club for Sichenje, they should prepare themselves because tutakuwa tunamuuliza kama alikula, kama amelala poa na vitu kama hivyo.
Beyond the comments and emojis, the excitement reflects a growing belief in Kenyan talent and how these players are inspiring a new generation of fans and young footballers.
These clubs sometimes wanaitumia to their advantage. They normally try and post content about the Kenyan players because wanajua itakuwa na the most interactions. So from that angle, it motivates you because you understand there's a crowd behind me, there are people back at home who believe in me.
Sichenje is not the only Kenyan making waves abroad. Midfielder Aldrin Kibet has signed with Spanish side Celta Vigo, while rising talents like Amos Wanjala have secured opportunities in Spain with Valencia, pointing to a growing trend of Kenyan players progressing through European systems.
Ukiongea na agents wengi na scouts wanakwambia Kenya is not really a football country. Umeona? So that perception inaendelea kifade away because tunawaonesha na talent. We saw it with Aldrin Kibet, akafungua njia. Nastic have been coming here, have been setting up camps in Kenya. So definitely word in a spread. They are telling their peers huko kwamba Kenya kuna kitu. Kenya kuna kitu. And right now we see more and more people coming, more scouts. I saw Americans are also coming in the country to scout players. So that perception is fading away, which is a positive thing for us. But also kudos to our systems because in Amanisha we are improving and we're doing something positive.
For Sichenje and his compatriots, this is just the beginning of a journey that could shape Kenyan football for years to come. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Well put there by Kennedy Kimani. What more shall we say to these things? Indeed, a very well done for the team that has made it to the international scene across, and the very best to Sichenje. From Newswatch team, my name is Mellisa Oduor, and the sign language has been Boniface Muredi. Thank you for your invaluable company. Until next time, have a good night.